on the grid. There were some drivers who didn't even make it into the consolation race. This was a 36-car grid. Let's take you through the starting lineup for this one. Lars Vennick and Christos Hathis start this one on the front row of the grid. Andrea Giudice and Austin Gale go from row 2. Gustav Finevsky and Francois Delati go from row 3 with Miguel Silva and Otto Pukkanen on row 4. Hamza Al-Fayez and Maximano da Silva round out row 5 from Christian Vagani and Elia Weiss on row 6. Luna Carré and Abdullah Kamal go from row number 7. Ricardo Cacosa and Nicholas Fragakis round out row number 8 from Tristan Powell and Emilio Ortolani, who has chosen to go for a fresh set of boots on his kart. He starts from row 9. Daniel Wellens and Lucas Frederick go from row 10. They ran at the top 20 from Florent Panet and Kevin Bakker on row 11. Marcel Matievich and Hawk White go from row 12. Rafael Rajani and Luca Montebello go from row 13. Angelo Melli and Thiago Liard go from row 14. Emilio Van Overberg and Louis Tort Mas go from row 15. They ran at the top 30. Freddie Housley and Celine Canol go from row 16 from George Kokonakis and Louis Aguirre on row 17. Sem van der Heijden and Wesley de Goy, who I don't think is out on the circuit. Unfortunately, we do wish him the best. In fact, there's a handful of drivers who have not gone out onto the circuit in this one. Would have started on the 36th spot of the grid. Drivers who I don't think have made it out to the track. Andrea Giudice, who has not gone out. Francois Delati, Otto Pukkanen's not gone out on there. Elia Weiss hasn't. Nicholas Fragakis hasn't gone out on track. Daniela Wellens also. Luca Montebello, Angelo Melli have not gone out on track. And Sem van der Heijden and Wesley de Goy all not out on the track. So we are down a fair few chunk of drivers here. Oh, and there's a driver who's overtaken nearly the entire grid there past the red line to squeeze into the fourth row of the grid. I don't think that's Miguel Silva because it looked like it was a thing. But, well, there we go. We'll find out. Into the tram lines we go. Are we going racing first time of asking? We are going racing the first time of asking. It's a scrappy start at the back of the grid there. But crucially, it is a good getaway for Lars Vennick at the front of it.
Yeah, he controlled it through and into turn number 2 and number 3. Wants to end the weekend on a positive note. Into turn number 5 we go for this one. Down the inside, that was one of the Pantanas. I think that was Miguel Silva. A couple of drivers running wide into that gully. It's not so bad for the X30 seniors. They've got a bit more mass and real estate to work with to get back on the circuit, but that's not how you want to start the race. But clear at the front of the order, it is Vennick and it is also Gustav Wisniewski, the Polish driver there in the 3.82 for KB Racing Experience. They've got the best starts. They're first and second on the way down to turn 14.
They are indeed. Well, here we go then in towards the braking zone of turn 14 again. And again down the inside there. A quick lunge down the inside for Luna Carré there to try and get that move. Well, as they head across the start-finish line then, the drivers all go through. Now I'm going to correct myself and I'm going to eat my words there. I don't think it was Miguel Silva with that massive overtake at the start, before the start of the race. I think it was Hamza Al-Fayez, unfortunately. He was starting on the 5th row of the grid because, of course, we were missing Andrea Giudice from that one, so I'll have miscounted a little bit. So there we go. That's potentially at the start of that race, but obviously that will be left for race control and the stewards to deal with. Big movers in this one on that opening lap. Florentine Panet, 14 places gained. Rafael Rajani, 17 places gained. They're 7th and 8th at the moment.
Yeah, we're gaining a lot of spots out there. Obviously gaining as well because of the number of non-starters in this one. Giudice, Delati as examples, and Pukkanen as well have had tough weekends. That's a good move. That's the 226 of Austin Gale. We saw Toby Gale racing earlier on in the juniors. Here's Austin in the X30 senior category, going past Miguel Silva for 3rd place.
Yeah, certainly so. Austin Gale with the BMR restart team this weekend, formerly with the Croc Promotions team, of course, and always run well with them in past lives, but now choosing to switch team here, and it's working out for him. Fastest driver out there on circuit, 50.803, looking very strong there in P3.
Yeah, still using similar machinery, of course. It's a Croc Promotions chassis that Austin Gale is on for this weekend. But Wisniewski is a bit unlucky to be in the consolation race here. He's had some good results across the course of the weekend, but some bad luck as well.
Oh, dear.
That's TB going a bit slowly. I think that's Rafael Rajani.
Oh, so, that's a shame. He was at a brilliant race. He was up so many positions.
He was indeed. It all comes crashing down, unfortunately, on lap number 3. Onto lap 4 for the leaders. Vennick still holding out the front of the order for Falcon Racing Team. Florent Panier, the privateer, doing very nicely in this race, Anthony. He's now 14 spots into P7.
Yep, nicely done all the way throughout. There is Florent Panier there going through in the 367. Really strong performance then in these early stages of this race, but Austin Gale again continues to set the fastest lap of the race. Still no change though for the top three. All the top four, Miguel Silva there in the Pantano, just rounding out the top four. Lars Winnick's got that fresh set of boots on. He has opened up a little bit of a gap. He's not broken away too much though. How is Emilio Ortolani doing? Ortolani, who is currently in 14th place, 4 places gained, has not made the best of start, but still is up several positions here as we go on to lap 5 of 14 here. No change still, apart from Gale has got past into 2nd place. Hamza Al-Fayez sees a warning flag. I suspect it's for the start, or before the start of the race.
Could well be for a start infringement, and we saw the overtaking potentially after the red line. It was one of the victory lanes. Here on your screens as well, still with our race leaders. Not so good news for Christos. Hatsis is down 18 spots, did start 2nd, is now in 20th place into turn 14. And still Gale holding there in 2nd place. Lars Vennig, quite comfortable at the moment. He's not driving too defensively, not feeling the need to do so, as there's a warning flag for Abdullah Kamel. But as we say that, Austin Gale's down the inside. It's taking the lead of the race.
Oh, bit of contact there from Vineski and Vennig there as they went wheel to wheel. Now he's put himself under pressure from Miguel Silva, who's trying to get down the inside. But yeah, like you say, Gale now in the lead of this race. Another fastest lap of the race, is looking nice and strong in this race. He's pushing himself forward all the way throughout. It's a shame that he's not been able to make it up into the superheats. He is a quick peddler, is Austin Gale. You know, he's not usually in the consolation race. He's usually fighting within those superheats. A big shame for him this weekend, but still, you know, it's nice to end a weekend if we can take a win here.
Yeah, and kind of get back on track as the championship goes on to Vaxdorf later on in the summer. Did have a top 10 in one of his heats earlier on this weekend. It's just been one of those where it's just quite not come together. Missed out on the final, unfortunately, at Zouera as well. We're on lap number 7. Not so good news for Hawk White. The driver representing Germany in AT Motorsport has fallen down to 25th place. I think there's been a problem there. For the 364, was up and around the top 10. New fastest lap of the race, Lucas Friedrich, who had a good effort to try and wrestle his way out of this consolation race yesterday, had an incident in the heat that we saw get disrupted by an incident needing to have the red flag come out, and he had a great drive after the red flag. Wasn't quite enough to get him into the top 72. But he's going along now. He's up 10 positions from where he started into the top 10. As I say, now the fastest lap of the race.
That, unfortunately, retiring from the race might be Rejani, or it could also be Christoph Hattis, unfortunately, the driver from Greece, who started this one on the front row of the grid, is all the way down in 25th place and has not crossed the start-finish line this time around. I suspect he is out of this race.
And yeah, on the red speed machinery this weekend, that is a shame for Christos there. Another new fastest lap of the race. Lucas Friedrich, a 50.128, has just got past Luna Claire as well for 9th place in this race. Into the second half of it, Austin Gale, well, having taken the lead a couple of laps ago, hasn't dropped Lars Vennig at the moment. As a duo, though, I think they are starting to pull away from Wisniewski bit by bit. Miguel Silva still there in 4th place. How far back is Florent Panier? Well, at the moment, 4 seconds. But Panier is setting some good sector times. There is Florent, up 16 spots in this race. Quite a tall driver, as you can see there. Probably enjoyed the conditions earlier on in the weekend when it was very wet on Thursday and a bit damper at the start of Friday, but always tough for a driver, especially around a circuit like this where there's so much full throttle stuff. Taller drivers, bigger window of opportunity for people to slipstream on them. It can be a bit tricky.
I think wet on Thursday is an understatement. I think
monsoon
deluge. I think there are many your lake, I think your Lake Franciacorta, I think, battling with Lake Garda, I think we were at that point of the weekend. Another retirement, unfortunately, Pantano Racing Teams, Luna Claret, unfortunately out of this race, brings our total amount of drivers left in this one to 23 drivers. Still this battle for third place raging on. Austin Gale, Lars Vennick and Gustav Winevski, Miguel Silva, Florentin Panay, like we were talking about there. One of the taller drivers out there, but cutting a hole through the air is bringing a trail of karts behind in the line of Hamza Alfayez, who's got that warning flag and is under investigation as well. Maximano da Silva, Ricardo Cacosa, Lucas Frederick as well, all in that battle. Emilio Ortolani's got up into 10th place now, so he's made another 4 places. And it's just outside of that group. He leads the next train that's all the way down to about 19th. As I said that, he has just tumbled down the order. And in fact, actually, I think he may be out of this race for Emilio Ortolani. Oh, that is commentator's curse at its finest.
You can blame Anthony Jordan for that one. I had nothing to do with it on that occasion. Freddie Housley goes up to 10th place, then changed for second place. Wisniewski is through past Vennick and will now try and set about closing up to Austin Gale. This is very good news for the driver representing Thailand, because he's breaking away now. Has got about 0.4 of a second as the lead. Wisniewski will try and turn this up now. It'd be great to see one of the Polish drivers doing well in this race. I've been really impressed with their introduction to the IAME Euro Series. I say there's a big group of them racing here in Italy in particular. Down the inside, Lars Vennick goes to the move on Wisniewski. This is a good battle for second place now as we end lap number 11.
I tell you what, Lars Vennick's chassis there is, well, very, very stiff at the moment, because you see him every time he turns into the corner. Look at it, it's hopping up, it's going up, it's bouncing around. Setup not fully there at the moment, but it's working in this race for him. Like you say, another tall driver. He's got top heavy there, you know, quite high up in the air. So when he leans into the corner there, it kind of bounces its way through. It's kind of very similar to a rental car in terms of the way it's handling at the moment. But just watch him into some of these tight corners. You can see it just bouncing up there. There, you see the rear wheel picking up there, and it just shows how stiff that chassis set up at the moment.
Yeah, he's properly wrestling the cart around this circuit right now. Hawk White has come back. I thought we said that it was out of the race. He's just gone under the fastest lap of it. 49.866 actually, I think it was probably a transponder error, because I now can see that he was only 12 seconds off the back of the pack. So good news for Hawk White there. Is still in this race. 2 laps of it to go. Austin Gale leads by now 0.6 of a second. Lars Vennick looks to have fended off the attack of Gustav Wisniewski. And they've all cleared Miguel Silva, who's about 2 seconds back there in 4th.
Right, so Frederick now with the fastest lap of the race, though, in that midfield pack there, P8, pushing forward, keeping an eye on these gaps here. Austin Gale looking calm, controlled here. The gaps opening up now, 0.6 of a second between himself and Lars Vennick. The driver not able to get the power down at this moment, but it's not under pressure, though, either from Gustav Winevski. They're just having a lovely, casual Sunday drive here in northern Italy.
What more could you want?
Exactly.
On to the final lap then. Austin Gale is less than 1.3 kilometres away from taking the consolation race and ending the weekend on that positive note that all the drivers were looking for at the start of this one. And for Gale, heading to Wackersdorf next, and then to Genk as well. This is the kind of race performance that hopefully will give Austin Gale good confidence to make that break into the finals next time out. Has constructed this race very well indeed from the second row of the grid. Heading down the back straight now, no challenge from behind. This should be a simple run to the line.
It certainly should be. For Austin Gale, it's not been the weekend he wanted, but like you said there, Andrew, he can end it on a high. Sees the checkered flag, he ends the consolation race on top form ahead of Lars Vennick. Gustav Winevski from Miguel Silva. Hamza Alfayez will finish in P5. It is under investigation and is also received a warning flag as well. So, yeah, there we go. He will finish in P5 there, but not... Well, there you go. There's another warning flag. The race hasn't even... The race ended there. It's not a laughing matter, of course, but, yeah, it's well timed there as I was talking about it. Another warning flag coming up on the screen. Pane finishing in 6th place from Kokoza in 7th. Frederick in 8th place from De Silva. Housley rounding out the top 10. But Austin Gale here can be happy with that one. He can watch from the sidelines now his brother, who's going to be going out in the junior race a bit later on. Yeah,
and he's got a good chance in that race as well. The field come back into the pit lane. That is them done for the weekend. Last race here in the Consolation 14 lapper. Let's have a look at the provisional results from the X30 Senior Consolation race. Austin Gale wins by 0.6 of a second ahead of pole sitter Lars Venik. Gustav Wisniewski will be happy there with 3rd place. Miguel Silva 4th. Hamza Al-Fayez 5th on the road, but does have penalties to be applied. Florent Pane up 15 spots to 6th place ahead of Ricardo Caconza, Lucas Friedrich, Maxi De Silva and Freddie Housley. Freddie Housley, the biggest mover in that race, up 21 places. Emilio Van Overberger was 11th ahead of Kevin Bakker. Luis Agria was also up 21 spots in that race ahead of Abdullah Kamel, who does have a 5-second penalty, and Thiago Lear as well for Portugal. That's your top 15. Selene Knoll, Marcel Matijevic,